Welcome everyone to this month's planning preview for the City of Sioux Falls Planning Commission. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Eric Nyberg. I'm the new chairman of the City of Sioux Falls Planning Commission. Our upcoming meeting is on February 3rd at 6 p.m. at Carnegie Town Hall. We invite all members of the public to come to speak to us and testify before or against any of the agenda items that are going to be on our upcoming agenda. We also welcome members from the public to talk about non-agenda items. So if you have a comment or concern with anything planning and zoning related, we'd love to have you at our meeting on February 3rd. Today's program, we're going to be going through our agenda items with Jason Bieber with the City of Sioux Falls Planning Department. Welcome, Jason.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Before we get started on the agenda items, let's quickly talk about how things have been going for the first few weeks of January of this year.
Well, we've been busy. As you can see, our agenda has about 13 items on it, which is pretty busy. Usually January and February, well, actually usually February is about our shortest month. It has the least amount of items. I think over the last couple of years we've averaged less than 5, so you can see people are ramping up and trying to get things done and figuring hopefully COVID's getting to the end of its life and we can get some stuff built this year. So.
Yeah, good. Well, that's great to hear. A long agenda for us means that Sioux Falls is doing well, so that is great
absolutely.
To hear. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's talk about this conditional use permit for on-sale alcoholic beverage establishment at 1701 West Legion Drive. That's out by the arena, and I think that's the old American Legion out there.
Yeah, correct. As most people are aware, they kind of consolidated all our military organizations up at the Alliance Center. And if you haven't been up there, actually, that's such an amazing facility for those veterans organizations and really starting to work together and hopefully have kind of a viable place for all military veterans to go and the public. So they no longer obviously need their building that's just south of there. They're looking at selling that then and another kind of bar. Casino's looking at going into that existing space. So
awesome. Very good. Our next one is a conditional use permit for an on-sale alcoholic beverage establishment at 2800 East Marson Drive. I think that's 41st and Southeastern area. Tell us about that.
Yeah, correct. It's kind of in that there's a strip mall, there's a Vera there. So this is actually the gas station that's a little bit closer to 49th Street, would be the northeast corner there. As we've seen kind of with some of these gas stations recently, they're looking at kind of taking a portion of their existing, footprint and then putting kind of a little video lottery establishment in there to serve some beer and wine in that general area. So.
Very good. Sounds good. Another conditional use permit for on-sale alcoholic beverage establishment. Seems like a popular month for those. 1700 and 1704 West Burnside Street. That looks out by Burnside Park. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so this is the old Jono's building that's actually right next to the American Legion that we talked about just a little bit ago. This is the area, as we call the entertainment district, south of the Denny Premier Sanford Center. So they're looking at just redeveloping that and doing kind of a bar casino in there too, kind of keeping that aspect of that area to have additional restaurants and bars and things within distance to the Denny Premier Center. So
very good. I know a lot of people were sad to see Jono's go, so it's good to see something's coming forward through sooner rather than later though. So.
Yep.
Our next one is a rezone from office to single-family residential, and this is at 4803 South Sunnymead Circle, and I believe this was on our agenda last month and got deferred, so we're at the 57th and Minnesota area, but tell us a little bit about this project.
Yep, so if you go south of 57th and Minnesota on the Minnesota Avenue, you'll see kind of on the east side, you'll see kind of those office buildings that are adjacent to Minnesota Avenue. Behind there, there's some executive style homes, and there's actually a large tract that's currently not developed, and most of that is zoned single family, but there's a little triangular piece that's still zoned office. What the applicant's looking at doing is kind of combining those two tracts together and then creating some executive style lots back there, over an acre in size. So some pretty nice homes should be going on those lots here in the future. So
very good. Sounds like a unique project. Our next one is a rezone, and it's got quite a bit of different uses or zoning labels, I should say, but we got a lot of agricultural here, PUD in here, and it looks like we're switching over to some townhomes and apartments. This project's north of 69th and east of South Sycamore. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, this is that property that, like you indicated, is kind of 69th and Sycamore area. You know, with the announcement with Veterans Parkway, us taking over kind of the negotiations and getting it constructed, I think some of this land that's in that general area will start developing and start getting constructed. Really the uses are going, this property really isn't a planned unit development. You know, you think of a pedestrian oriented planned unit development and Lake Lorraine comes to mind. This specific area just is really not going to develop like that. So really what they're doing is just rezoning it out of a PUD and rezoning it to conventional zoning. So the ones they're going to are already uses that are allowed in a PUD. It's just not going to function like a PUD. It's going to function more as each kind of individual lot does their own kind of thing instead of kind of having one large area. So.
Okay, and usually we see things go from traditional zoning into a PUD.
Yeah.
We probably don't see a lot of it the other direction. Is that right?
No, typically we don't, because we don't have a lot of PUDs anymore under our new Shape Places ordinance. And really the ones we have are pretty unique areas of Sioux Falls, like I indicated with the downtown's a PUD, obviously unique. Lake Lorraine's another pretty unique area where they want to, where you park in this general location and you walk all the way around to all the different businesses and things, so you can kind of share parking and different things like that. This area will be more of, like I kind of indicated, kind of builder builds something here, another builder here, different uses with they want their parking all kind of self-contained on their own site. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Very good. Our next item is a rezone from light industrial to apartment residential, high density. This one looks like it's over by Costco, just east of there, West 49th Street and east of Grange Avenue. Tell me a little bit about what's going on there.
Yeah, this would be just east and south of Costco, just south of those large apartment complex that's already been constructed within the last 5 years. So this is another piece of land that's currently vacant, and as we get further along with getting 49th Street to go through between Western and Minnesota, which actually should be happening here in the next couple of years. I know we've said that for 20 years, but it's going to happen in the next couple of years. So people that own land in that area obviously are getting it ready, kind of anticipating that's going to be a pretty busy street, 49th Street, to take some of that pressure off 57th and 41st. So this particular track, they're looking at doing apartments on the backside of this, large apartments, and then the front will be reserved for future mixed-use type development. So.
Okay, very nice. Our next one is a rezone from the single-family residential to townhomes. This is at 702 South Duluth Avenue, which is a little west of Minnesota Avenue. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, so this is actually an existing house that's been chopped up into a couple apartments. So really the applicant's just looking at kind of zoning it to what the current use of it is, which is a converted house. So nothing really happening there. I think they've got to provide some additional parking, but really the footprint of the house won't change much. So.
Okay, perfect. Our next one is a rezone also. We've got a little bit of agriculture, and then we're going into a conservation and single family and townhome, and it looks like quite a bit of stuff here. It's over on West Mabel and west of North Marion Road, so out on the west side. Tell us about this one.
Yep, as you know, out this area, this will be kind of close to the new Jefferson High School. When that was announced, obviously land starts, developers start kind of getting land and start getting housing stock ready. So this is actually a parcel that we just annexed in, and is just east of the fire station. If you've ever seen that, we kind of had a flagpole annexation to go out to the new McGovern School and our fire station out there. So this will actually get all that other land in there, and so actually make it more contiguous to the city. So this is kind of a big win for Sioux Falls to get it annexed in and then get it zoned, and hopefully get some more development right across from the high school out there. So.
Very nice, awesome. This next one is just west of Minnesota Avenue, kind of in the downtown area, 209 South Spring Avenue, and it's a rezone from commercial into to townhomes. Tell us about this project.
Yeah, if you've ever seen this one, so we actually rezoned this to commercial from residential probably 8 years ago, and the applicant wanted to do, it was kind of a house, wanted to convert it into what we call like an event hall, to have like small bride showers, to have wedding showers and different things in their birthday parties, and then also allow people to stay upstairs. The applicant now, I think, is ready to be done doing that, and really feels that it's more beneficial to sell it as a single-family house, or a converted house for somebody in that area to kind of invest in that aspect. And it does look like a house right now. But,
okay,
yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Finally, we got a couple preliminary subdivision plans. The first one is for that one at Sunnymead off of 57th in Minnesota. Anything you can add about the subdivision plan there?
No, just those executive lots, and I think they're looking to do about 4 of them up there. So.
Okay, very cool. And then finally is that preliminary subdivision plan for that West Maple Street and West Marion Road area. And you hit on that already, but anything else to add for that one?
No, it should be everything I kind of indicated before. Should be. It'll be a good subdivision up there by Jefferson High School. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Jason. We appreciate it. It sounds like we've got a good February meeting coming forward, full of a lot of stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
And thank you for joining us for the first half of our planning preview. After the break, we're going to have Butch Warrington, the Chief Building Official at the City of Sioux Falls, join us. So please stick with us.
Hi, my name is Brent, and I'm a housing specialist for the City of Sioux Falls, and I'm out here with Kelly, Property Maintenance Manager for the city. We're out here on this snowy day, and we're here to talk about sidewalks. So Kelly, why do we need to clean the sidewalks?
Well, many people use the sidewalks for transportation, kids getting to school. You know, some people, elderly, disabled, or for whatever reason, they go to grocery stores or to work, they need a safe place to travel as well.
So we use about 2 feet of space. Do we only need to do the scoop it path, or do we have to go side to side?
Go the entire width of the sidewalk, edge to edge, and that way it's, ADA accessible for those in wheelchairs.
Okay. Today, I don't know if we're going to get 2 inches of snow, but do we have to wait till 2 inches, or do you have to start scooping right away?
No, you have to clear your sidewalk after any snow or ice event, and that's, within 48 hours after that event, we need that cleared off.
Well, thanks, Kelly. Well, if you're out scooping your snow and you see that your neighbor's house needs sidewalks scooped as well, do the neighborly thing and help your neighbor out.
If you'd like to see if one of our city programs can help you out, call 367-8180 or check us out online at siouxfalls.org.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us today. The second half of our planning preview today is going to be with Butch Warrington, Chief Building Official at the City of Sioux Falls. Welcome, Butch.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being with us. We've got a great topic today. We're going to talk about building permits for 2020. And we all know it was an interesting year in 2020, Bill. So I'll let you start off and take it away with some of the large numbers that we saw in 2020.
2020 was a very interesting year, needless to say. Most of the year we were down a little bit compared to the couple previous years, and which didn't surprise me because as we all know, we had a little pandemic that caused a little problem. However, the big thing was we got that big project at the end of the year that put us over the top. We kind of skipped right over the 800 million, which is what was needed to break a new record, and we skipped and we ended up with 919 million total.
Wow, that is fascinating. And before we get to that big project and talk about that a little bit, talk to us about the beginning of the pandemic and how that affected the building activity in Sioux Falls and a little bit of that dip that we saw.
It did. Everything we figured might get put on hold a little bit. And that was just the opposite of what we saw, especially on the residential end of everything. We couldn't get permits out quick enough for all the home builders. We had like 742 single-family dwellings this year, and that's the most we've had in a number of years. Back in 2003, 4, and 5, we averaged about 1,000, but that was the only time we were even close to that. So this was an exciting year when it comes to that. And it's all started in March. We didn't know what was going to happen, but we were ready for it, more prepared than I think a lot of jurisdictions were, because we were already issuing building permits online, so we didn't have to keep that front door open. Some of them had to learn how to operate their computer a little different, but everything worked out very well. And we would have had 700 million just in residential and our normal stuff, and I think that is saying a lot for our home builders and also the multifamily builders, because they're the ones that really kept us afloat this year.
Sure, and that's fascinating. And from an operational standpoint, for your office to be adaptive enough to, even though you were online before, to be able to take some of those things and run with it. And how about the staff? Were the staff operating downtown together, or was there remote working going on? Or
for about a month and a half, everything was remote. I got to come in, and I was like the Maytag repairman, because it was lonely around there. I got to talk to people on the phone, but I didn't see anybody for about a month and a half. But they were able to work from home. We got them rigged up right away. So we were able to keep everything going as best we could.
That's fascinating. So sounds like single family homes kind of ran the show during the pandemic. Talk to us a little bit about that. Were you expecting that? Did you have any idea that that would happen? Or
we really thought it might take a tumble, that everybody would go into panic mode and everybody shut down. But I think the low interest rates kept going, and what we found out was people weren't spending money on the entertainment, but they spent it on their homes.
Sure.
They did a lot of updating also along with that, new homes and whatnot. So it was really quite neat the way everything did. It wasn't what we expected, but we gladly took it.
Gotcha. And I hear Jeff talk about the additions to houses with decks and everything else, and I know those all get permits. So is that true? Do we see a fascinating number of renovations and everything you could imagine? Or?
Everything you could imagine. People really updated their homes because they spent more time in their homes, so they wanted to update them. So yes, all of those permits were as good as they've ever been.
Cool. That's awesome to see, and nice work for you and your team throughout an unbelievable year for everybody. Let's maybe move into the commercial side of things and what we saw in the commercial permits this year.
And the commercial end, and there again, the apartments took off. This was not the most we've ever issued in apartments, but we did have a record-breaking year when you consider single-family, twin homes, duplexes, and multifamily. We issued over 2,700 dwelling units, and that was an all-time record. The last time was in 2016, where we had about 2,650. So that was really amazing. I didn't see all those apartments coming at the beginning of the year, but we got them issued and they're building.
Cool. That is awesome to see. And I suppose, just like this year, there was so much unpredictability, but do you expect to see that continue? Does the apartments, once we build so many, do we get a drop off for a couple years? Or
as a general rule, that's what happens, is you will build it up and then you'll see a downturn. And that's where it kind of surprised me, because we didn't get that gradual upturn. Last year we only had 640 multifamily dwelling units. So this year, when we did over 1,570, I didn't see that coming. It was a big spike. This year, we still have a lot of apartments on the books. So I think this is going to be another very strong year. And with a couple of those big commercial projects where they're going to demand a lot of people, I think it may continue for a while.
Sure, sure. Fascinating. And in the apartment world, do you know or see a specific part of town that's maybe a little bit more attractive or got more aggression behind it than anywhere else, or is it just everywhere?
In the last few years, it's been every place, because right now we're doing some on the southwest corner that just started. We've been doing some up on the northwest, up by University Hills. The southeast had its share, and also over on the east side, they're starting to work on getting some units going over there. So it's pretty much all over the place.
Awesome. That is just great to hear, and what a testament to how well Sioux Falls is doing, without a doubt. So you kind of hit on it a little bit, but let's talk about the big one. Let's talk about our big commercial project up north.
We did have a big project, and it is by the name of Amazon. And that project is the largest project we've ever issued for the city of Sioux Falls. And there again, what was neat was the last big project was just under $100 million. Well, we skipped over the 100 millions and went straight to 200 million. When you look at it, it is a neat building. It's a code guy's dream, because there's a lot of things in it, but it's 2.9 million square feet. It was $218 million worth.
Wow.
And the schedule for it is quite aggressive. It should be up and running. I think it's like May of 2022 in that area that they want to have that up and running. For a building that size, it is quite aggressive. And it's going to put a punch in Sioux Falls economy, because there's going to be a fair amount of people working there. So
Sure.
It's going to help.
Yeah, that's fascinating. What a speed and pace for a building of that size. That is something else.
It is, and they're using some of our own local contractors. They may not be the primes, but a lot of the subs are. So they're putting a lot of people in now, too.
Good, good. That is always great to hear as well. And talk to us about the review process. When a permit comes in like that, what does that procedure look like? I imagine it's quite intense.
It is. We had many conversations just before the plans are even built, because it is a unique building, and we wanted to make sure it was done properly. So when they started asking us about it, I met with them many times over the course of the last few months, and by the time the plans were submitted, there were very, very few surprises. We pretty much knew how it was going to be built prior to them even submitting any plans. And that's how well things went. And to be honest, it didn't take us long to do the plan review on it. Sometimes plan reviews can take a month or even more. This one was done very quickly, because we knew and we had discussed every problem we could think of before that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, another fascinating business opportunity for Sioux Falls, and great work for you and your team to get through that. And we look forward to what's coming in 2021. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about the numbers and the year that we had in 2020?
Well, I think one of the big things people don't realize, it was a record-breaking year, but we didn't have any city projects in that year either. So that's what makes it unique. Now, this year we'll have a few of them. So I anticipate when we're all said and done by the end of the year, we could be in that 900 million or maybe 800 million range someplace.
Wow, cool. Very, very cool. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for the planning preview for the City of Sioux Falls Planning Commission this month. We'd like to welcome you to come to Carnegie Town Hall on February 3rd at 6 p.m. for our upcoming Planning Commission meeting. Thank you.